into them. And as they got older, they permanently walked away from the family and from the faith. Not just we hope they'll come back. They permanently walk away. Never to come again. That might be devastating. But it doesn't have to be. If you poured your time and treasure into that child mainly for the child's sake, you did waste your time. You did it in vain. Because guess what? That child's not coming back. They're not coming to the faith. They're not coming to your family. If you poured it in for their sake, you wasted all that time, all that treasure. It was pointless. It was a waste. You shouldn't have done it. But if you poured your time and treasure into that child as a work unto the Lord, it was of great value. It was not wasted. Because it was unto God you did it. Now, you still did the same thing. You loved your child. You trained your child. You educated your child. You did all the same thing. But the purpose was different. Instead of doing it to the child mainly, you said, God, I will serve you by doing this for him or her. And no matter what the outcome is here, it was not in vain. If you do it for them mainly, it always will be in vain. For nothing is in vain if it's done unto the Lord. Now here's the amazing thing. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask you now, reclaim your labor. It's the most profound thing. God allows us to reclaim labor unto Him. What do I mean by this? Let's say you had the child that we spoke about. How would you feel about that child if you labored unto them and you did all this stuff for them and they walked away? Would you feel angry? Would you feel bitterness? Would you feel disappointment? Oh yes. Because all this was wasted. Why? Because it was wasted. You did all this and it was a waste. What if I told you that you could reclaim that labor that you had done for the child and give it back to God? Go back in time and fix it. This is amazing. This is one of the few things that you can really go back and redo. Instead of continuing in your anger and bitterness because the child went astray, take all that you poured into that child and reclaim it as a work unto God. Say, God, you know what? When I did this, my focus was on that child, and that was wrong. You know what? I'm going to take all that I did for them, and instead of giving it unto them, they didn't respect it, they didn't value it, they didn't like it. I'm not going to give that to them anymore. I'm going to say, God, that was unto you. I did that as a work unto you, not unto that child mainly. I did it as a service to you. That sounds amazing. It actually works. As soon as you begin to reposition what you have done and do it as a service first unto God, you will find something amazing happen. That anger and bitterness and disappointment begin to subside and go away. It's the most amazing thing. Why? The reason you were so upset was your work was in vain. Your work was worthless. Once you reclaim that work as a service unto God, all that you did is no longer in vain. You're no longer angry. You're no longer bitter because God values what you did. No matter the results, your work was valued by God. It changes the failure into a success no matter what the outcome was. God fixed it. This really goes back to how we receive love and value. A quick recap of this concept for those that are not familiar with it, and if you need a more in-depth discussion about it, I'd be happy to talk after service. We all need love and value. We all need to be loved. We all need to be valued. God made us that way on purpose. But how most people go about this is quite foolish. What most people do is this. They get up and they pour love and value into someone by doing something for them. They get up and they do something for them, like the child. Or you get up and you say, I'm going to serve this person. I'm going to pour into them. What's the hope? You want them to pour back into you. Wow, I really appreciate that. Boy, you did a great job. That was awesome. Thank you. You know what? That doesn't always happen. Sometimes people don't do that. You go out, you eat. You said, wow, you couldn't have got it shorter? It's a problem. What happens if you're looking for them to pour back into you? All of a sudden, your love and value goes way down, desperately low. We get angry because I poured into your life, man. You pour back in mine now. What are you doing? That's love and value. That's how most people do it, foolishly. The problem is most people are completely depleted of love and value. And even if you pour a great deal into them, they never seem to be able to pour back because they're so desperately low for it. You can pour into them and pour into them and pour into them, and they go, so, I'm not going to give you any back. So why do we try to get love and value from people? People stink at it. They do. They really do. When God has an overflowing cup of love and value. He has an infinite supply of love and value. If we first look to Him, we will not care about how others respond to our pouring into them. You only hoard on to things when you don't have much of it. When you're low on love and value, someone gives you a little bit, you go, good, I'm not going to give that to you. I'll hold on to that. Someone else gives a little bit, oh good, I'll take that too. I need it. Because they're being depleted so fast, they cannot give it to anyone. They have such a picture album issue that they cannot give it back to anyone. I saw and thought about this concept of hoarding on to this when you're low. And when you have plenty of it, it doesn't matter. You can give it up freely. It's not of any consequence to you. And I thought there are 3 sages that exemplified this concept.
Amigos. Put a face.
That's sand.
Oh. That's good.
Washing his mouth out.
Oh no.
What you couldn't hear at the end, he says, oh, I'm sorry, lip balm? Would you care for some lip balm? What makes this so funny? They're both in desperate need of water. Chevy has so much, he's spilling it out, spitting it out, and throws it to the side. And then he turns around and offers them lip balm. That's funny. That's sort of how we do it. Most people's tank just has a few drops in it. They are in desperate need of love and value. Worse yet, their tank could be full of sand. And since we know how to have our tank full, let us pour into others. Too many times we look to those in desperate need of love and value. We are just bathing in it, or should be bathing in it. And we turn to them, and what do we say? Oh, lip balm? Oh, this is how you fix your marriage. Oh, this is how... No, they need love and value. Let's pour love and value into them. Let's stop doing the lip balm routine. We see the dangers of being put on a pedestal. Always know the people who are putting you up are going to be the ones tearing you down pretty soon. It's just going to happen. And if you are trying to get your love and value from them, and boy, this is neat, they think great of me. When they're tearing you down, your feelings are going to be different. We've all felt like Paul, thinking all we have done is in vain. It was a waste. And it really could have been. We don't reclaim it for God. So, in the past, we can take care of the past, and we can take care of the future. From this point on, what you do, do unto God. Go to work, unto God. Brush your teeth, unto God. I mean, could you imagine brushing your teeth and flossing, and then coming to find out that you have 7 cavities and 2 root canals? If you did it unto your teeth, that's CJ, by the way. You did it in vain! You did it unto God. It's not. You're welcome. I know some might think it is silly to be able to go back to past labor and reclaim it for God, but guess what? God's outside of time. God wants you not to have the anger and bitterness towards the situation. And the reason you have the anger and bitterness is because you messed up. You did it wrong. And you can go back and fix it. That's so cool. That is so amazing. Because I guarantee you, everyone in this room is angry or bitter about something that has happened in the past. And you will begin to recognize the release of anger and bitterness. When we labor for others, i.e. pour our love and value into them, and they take but never give back, we will get angry if we're doing it for ourselves. When we labor for God by serving others, they can take all they want and never give back, for they are not our source of love and value. It is God who is the source of our love and value. Now I want to move into a time of